marketers. They are actually the marketers from the tech marketing leaders. There are 6 on stage, so that's why we are bringing some new seats. So please welcome Geoffrey Vion. He's speaking. Geoffrey Vion, who is VP Marketing of Contentsquare. Aurélie Friedel, CMO of Alan. Selma Chauvin, CRO of Agorapulse. Yannig Roth, founder and CEO of Hirondo. Flora Wolfer, CMO of Payplug. And last but not least, we have, Hélène Draoulec, CMO of Phenix. So it's a 1-hour session. It's very different. I told you I don't know what to expect, and I will let Geoffrey lead the discussion and just have fun.
Thank you. Thanks, everyone. Hello, hello, and thank you to be with us. Thank you. You take your time to and choose our session. Thank you again. So today it will be 1 hour with marketing successes and fails for the French tech and startup and unicorn. Yes. And that. So we have Aurélie, Selma, Hélène, Yannick, Flora, and myself, Geoffrey, and we are really happy to be with you. Yannick, do you want to start with a few words about who we are?
Yes, sir. Thank you very much for being here. So Tech Marketing Leaders is a non-profit organization here in France founded by Aurélie, among other people, and we're 160 plus people who are marketing leaders in their respective tech startups and scale-ups. Some have evolved to CRO roles, some have evolved to CEO roles, but we are a tight-knit community, referral-based, all CMOs or marketing leaders who, among some of them, the companies are listed below, who exchange ideas, discussions. How are you addressing this challenge? How do you hire a team? How do you discuss budget with your CEO, CFO, etc. Those are the type of things that we discuss in the Slack. It has grown very organically, and we have jointly written a book. A bit more than a year ago, Geoffrey did a joke and said, "Why don't we write a book?" Well, when we were looking at great books that we found about marketing, most of them were US-based. Not few of them were very practical, and so we thought, why don't we write a book? It was initially a joke, but over time, we happened to last summer we have assembled a group, many of whom are here, and everyone has written a chapter or half a chapter about a particular topic: budgeting, artificial intelligence. Aurélie will talk about it, internationalization and things like that. And we wanted to come here to share some of the things that are in the book, also as well as some things that are not in the book, which is fails, which is something that we wanted to convey as part of the book, which is how theory looks like and how practice look like. And this is the list of contributors. You have about 30 marketing leaders who have all asynchronously written one or several chapters. Some of them have made inserts in the book, and some of them have done for one or several chapters. And the main authors are, obviously, we've coordinated the whole thing, Geoffrey, Aurélie, Jordan, who's CEO of Bulldozer, as well as myself, and then 30 plus people who have written chapters or different insights about marketing at French tech unicorns and startups.
Yes, thank you. This is the agenda. We go really quickly, 2 minutes through how startup and unicorn are reinventing marketing. And then we have for you like 6 keynote, 6 success from 6 different startups. And then we have kind of a fire chat roundtable around marketing versus reality. So how startup and unicorn are reinventing marketing. I have just few takeaways for you, but when you work in a startup, you cannot just apply, traditional marketing approach. It's not true. If you really want to reshape, you really need to reshape your marketing to meet unique challenges of innovation, scale, and speed. And talking about innovation, when you work in a startup, obviously, startups are pioneers. Innovation is really a driving force. So you always need to build your strong strategy to have a strong differentiation and disruptive values proposition. More important than that is the speed of execution. Time is everything. When you are working in a hyper-growth company, you need to always act, you need to always adapt yourself. I will just take a concrete example. I work at Contentsquare. I started like 6 years ago. In 6 years, when I joined them, we were like 250 people. When we are today 1,800 people. We made 10 acquisitions, waste time raise money, for time, and of course our product, changed a lot during the last few years, and even our brand identity, we changed our brand identity 2 times. So you need to always act, and be always on the ball, let's say. While you work in the startup, data, AI, tech is not a tool. It's really a competitive advantage. So it's really part of all our decision, all of our strategy. I think at one point, when you do marketing in startup, and by the way, I worked before for some big company and corporate, you always need to adapt your marketing, your team. They need to be really agile. You build foundation, and you need to adapt your marketing and scale in the same time. And by the way, when you are an early stage company, you always have a limited resources. So obviously, be really efficient and creative is not only optional. And last, I think the role of marketing in startup is really different than in big company. Marketing is really a growth engine. It's not a support role. Always the CMO report directly to the CEO. Often the CEO was kind of the first marketers in the company. And he always, even today, he always have a look on the marketing topic, which is nice and also a bit challenging. And then last topic is when you work in startup, there is no silo, there is a real collaboration between all the stakeholders, because of course the idea is to build as fast as you can a really strong product and put it on the market as fast as you can. So this is our marketing, our startup, are reinventing the marketing. And so let's go now. We have 6 keynotes, 7 minutes each, so quite fast. And we start with you, Yannig, for the first one.
Thank you, Geoffrey. So the first one is about building and developing a marketing dream team. Thank you. We have 2 chapters in the book that are about teams, people, and their evolution, as well as 2 extra chapters, one about the relationship with other teams internally, and one about the relationship with mentors and growth, mentors, funds, etc. So the component of the team is very important within marketing, obviously, for obvious reason. Geoffrey and Joël wrote a chapter about hiring, and Leslie, and I don't remember the second person, wrote a chapter about developing your team, upskilling your team in a fast-moving startup or scale-up. So those were insights taken from chapters 2 and 3, which were not written by myself, but by the people I just mentioned. So the first insight that we wanted to share, or that comes out of the book, is that great teams are built on vision. I have a timer here, which is why I don't see it. On vision, not job descriptions. So it's very, very important to have a compelling vision that comes from the top, and not a very detailed list of bullet points, because this is what the people that will follow you will want to work towards, and this is the type of energy that they will want to deploy, rather than a specific job desk with just KPIs, bullet points, or things like this, because so much changes so fast that you cannot keep great people, if you don't have a compelling vision that they want to follow. Obviously, marketing must be anchored in business strategy and the company strategy, and the structure of your team will follow the objectives. You don't have the same objectives, the same team, and the same people if you want to go for awareness-oriented marketing or acquisition-oriented marketing. Spoiler, both are always important in a marketing team, and there is never one that is more important than the other. Or more important, yes, but never without one. Early stage companies tend to need generalists. Don't go for specialists from big corporates in early stages. And while you scale, you might want to bring on experts and team leaders to organize and structure the team efforts. The budget defines the team maturity, and so 10 to 20% of total staff on average is the type of teams that you would want to have, the number of people you want to have in your team for marketing. That's obviously average. It depends on a lot of other things, but that's something that comes out of our different chapters. Recruit for potential, not for pedigree. I've seen it myself quite a bit also. Don't take the senior person who has the most, or you can obviously, but have the best resume. Possibly you want that person to be the CMO, but maybe not the people within the team internally. So recruitment is like a marketing funnel. You have to treat it as such, as an acquisition funnel, as people that you will want to convert and that you will want to be interesting for. So you also have to have employer branding, and that is very, very important. The key skills that we collectively highlight in the book is more autonomy, grit, and adaptability than obviously ego, structure and too much desire to have control or organize. It is, for us, more important to have great juniors with drive than seniors without flexibility, because obviously seniors are not to be dismissed at all. And using referrals, scorecard, and asynchronous work is something that helps quite a lot in the hiring process. Last, the onboarding of a person can be a great lever for growth. The person has contacts, the person has former colleagues if he or she comes from a competitor or from someone in the field. So don't make onboarding only about understanding your product or who you are or pricing structure, but also as a way to actually get some pipeline leads, ideas, or anything else that might energize your marketing. There are three types of structures that we present in the book. One is oriented on roles, brand communication, growth, product marketing, for example. Within each team you have key people. The other one is geographical marketing organization. So you have the similar type of, for example, of organization, but by geo, which is for bigger organizations like Contentsquare, for example, something that you probably have. And then there is also a hybrid model or a model that is mixed, or that is maybe you have that, Hélène, where you have a B2B focus with some specialties or talents, B2C focus with other type of roles, and then a transverse role with supporting roles like, for example, brand or product or marketing operations. Spoiler, many of those things, many of those structures evolve over time. You start with one, you change with another. You had a couple of years with Payplug, right? You will talk about this. Things change. Adaptability is not only for the people, but also for the organization, and then obviously for the CMO who has to run it. Build or buy. I won't read all the bullet points here, but sometimes it's a great idea to buy, meaning having agencies, freelancers, or fractionals who come to reinforce your team during a key transition phase. Building is obviously internalizing resources when you want to have more control, more commitment, and maybe sometimes less cost and more more alignment internally with other teams. You will want to have people full-time. In some instances, areas, or stages, having freelancers or agencies or fractional can be of great value. Last, for me, last slide is a quote by Roxane, which is one of the co-authors from Mano Mano. She says, in a scale-up, priorities evolve really, really fast. I'll let you read the quote. I don't want to read it, all of it, but basically it is very, very common that the people who were there first have done 2, 3, 4 types of different jobs within marketing, not just one, and that's a normal thing, and that's a quality that we will want to foster within modern marketing organizations. Thank you.
Thank you. I have a question for you. How many times have you heard someone saying, I want more leads? I've spoken with dozens of CEOs over the past few weeks, and all of them have mentioned that they need more leads. They all have said that this is one of their major problems today. Let me tell you that this was none of their problem. They don't have a pipeline problem. Most of them do not. What they have is a handoff problem. And the reason is, when I was speaking with one of these CEOs, I asked, why do you want more leads? And he was like, because my sales are craving for leads. Okay, how fast are they dealing with the leads they receive today? 10 days, 2 weeks, maybe not. I don't know, I don't monitor that. So yeah, definitely you don't need more leads. And especially because, again, 60% of the leads that will be created won't be touched by sales reps anyway. And almost half of them don't even know where these leads come from. So basically, they don't know what to tell these leads to convince them to take a meeting. So no, you don't have a problem. You have a process problem. And that process comes from that single thing, that is, you use your KPIs as your culture. And you have 2 cultures, one for marketing and one for sales. The one for marketing is, of course, talking about leads. There is yearly objectives and so on. The one for sales is super different. You talk about accounts and pipeline. And as long as you do that difference, then sales will continue to request more leads, because that's the only marketing vocabulary that they know. But what if you design your KPIs for revenue and not your internal politics at the end? You give them the same, that would be AOR, pipeline, velocity, market penetration, or conversion rates. No matter what, then you align them and they start to speak the same language. And if you do so, then your results will explode, because again, they will work, all of them, beyond the same goal. And that means you have to have this alignment at every step of the process. From the beginning, so from the market study, to the last part that is even after the customer is signed, sales and marketing have to work hand in hand, and they all have their missions to do in conjunction. If you think that some topics are just marketing or some topics are just sales, this is where you start to fail. You have to align these guys. And again, especially because 2/3 of customers could tell if there is inconsistency, if these people do not talk. Do you know that in average, you need 6 touches during a whole B2B marketing plus sales channel? In my previous company, that was up to 60 touches over a year. And let me tell you that the customer doesn't know what is sales and marketing. What they know, what they spot, is that that doesn't make sense together. That they receive some newsletter and then some emails from sales, sequences, they have phone calls, they go to webinars, and none of that speak the same language. So again, if you align making them speak the same language from day one, then you'll get more success. And to summarize that all, there are 4 rules that you have to use to break the silos and drive revenue. The first one is to ditch these vanity KPIs. Align on what drives deals. Align on pipeline. Don't talk about leads, talk about pipeline for today and pipeline for tomorrow. The second one is to stop the handoff. Don't say content is a marketing thing. Don't say opportunities management is a sales thing. Ensure that everybody owns the funnel together. Third one is that the story has to be aligned. You can't afford to have mixed messages or to allow sales to send bad communications to people because, again, they don't see the silos, they just see the experience. And at the end, not the least, less blame and more pipeline. Instead of having a situation where sales can blame marketing for leads and marketing can blame sales for not converting the leads, have just a naive discussion about how can we win all together? What is the extra mile we can all achieve to ensure that we make the pipeline, we make the revenue that is expected? We don't care about who messed up, we care about the future. And we need to build that together.
Thank you, Selma. I'm going to follow up on this alignment subject, but more on a branding perspective. So what I'll tell you is basically that in a B2B company and tech company, usually, building a strong brand can make a huge difference in how you fuel your lead gen, your pipeline, and how you align your teams. And I'm going to try and demonstrate that. So I've been 6 years in this job, and I've seen, like in Payplug. Payplug is a French payment solution. So basically, if you pay online or in a store in France, there's about 10% chance that we are operating that payment. And we've been through a lot of different phases. I've shown you a little video, but there are dates as well. We'll go very quickly through them. Basically, I've started 6 years ago with a team of 5 people trying to reassure the entire market that payment online was safe. When you think about it today, safety is not something that is that important in payments, right? Like, you don't think about safety, basically. You just think about how fast it's going to go. It was completely different 6 years ago. Then we got acquired by a big bank, the Groupe BPCE, I hope you all know it. And then we started evolving as well. Something that changed as well is that we merged with another company. So basically, Payplug back then merged with another company that was called Dalenis, and it forced us to completely reposition ourselves. So, the video is not working, but never mind. So this forced us, and I will follow up on this afterwards, to completely change our image to the market. And then again, we became the official PSP. It's called a payment platform for the Olympic ticketing games. So again, if you bought tickets, you probably use our technology. And this put us in a completely different dimension as well, right? We were not just a little startup, 50 people in a nice office in the center of Paris. We were 400 people actually managing thousands and thousands of payments per day for that kind of event. And then we continue growing. We created a very strong distribution positioning, and I will follow up on that as well. And this is something that was completely fueled by brand, not 100%, but a lot of it. And then again, after some years of working, we made some changes in our brand, and we're currently doing them, so we'll be able to look at them as well. So first of all, I'll follow up on two main subjects. The first one is that your brand is the essence of what will fuel your growth. What does it mean? We are in a commodity-based market. A lot of our customers thought that the only thing that was important was price. Back then, we spent, enormous amounts of money trying to generate pipeline directly, acquiring leads on Google Ads, on any digital platform, and then realized that because trust and security and safety was the most important thing to our customers, they would never, ever, ever buy our product like that. And most of all, they were not buying the product, and the rare times they were doing so, they were cutting the prices so badly that we couldn't basically pay our salaries. So how do you solve that? Basically, first of all, you change completely your distribution channel, and then you actually think how your brand will be able to fuel that new acquiring, lead gen channel. And this is exactly what we did. We thought that building reputation was the only way, and investing in reputation was the only way to make sure that our distributors were picking us instead of any other competing solution apart from price. And it helped us actually increase our pricing by almost 40% in a few years. And it also helped us accelerate a lot on distribution channels. This is what I said as well, our business model completely changed, and in 2024 we reached this objective of having new business, 80% of new business coming from distribution, and knowing that most of our distributors were picking us because of that brand, because they knew that we were everywhere and that we were trustworthy. And I think that this is essential. Something that this helped us as well do something slightly different, but quite important as well. It helped us actually build a strong M&A strategy. How so? 2.5 years ago, we merged with another company, that's what I said in the introduction, called Dalinis. We arrived in that deal with a strong reputation, with vision from the market that we were a lot bigger than what we actually were. From there, we started building a new company, right? That new company basically was 2 boxes of people who didn't know each other, who didn't trust each other, and who had to learn to work together. About 3 months after we started the merge, a lot of our partners, we were talking about distribution before, started calling me and said, "Oh, that's quite impressive because you already finished your merge." I laughed very loudly. It took us 2 years, in fact. However, because we had built a brand, even before we had actually started working together, it helped us internally to actually build purpose, to motivate people to start working together, to start to understand what the other team were doing. But it also helped us actually redirect all the questions to the business and not just about the organization. How so? Basically, because we had a unique image, because everyone was looking at us as the same company, they just stopped asking about, oh, how do you work together? Who's the CMO? Who's the sales director or whoever? They just started to ask, what's your value proposition? What do you sell? How can I work with you? And this is when business started again, right? And in M&A processes, this can be a real hustle because a lot of time it distracts teams and it distracts customer as well. And what we saw as well that was quite impressive is that because we built this strong brand that was quite reassuring, that looked a lot bigger than what we actually were, it helped us increase our NPS, so our Net Promoter Score. So basically, our customers were quite happy with this. And it increased from 8 to 35 in just 2 years, just by working on that positioning and on that brand. And yeah, just like a very quick KPI as well for visits, like obviously this helped as well, but we decreased our budget by 30% and it increased our visits by 50%, so obviously we did something right. Just to sum up very quickly on that, don't forget that when you're working in B2B and in tech, what is most important is not building a corporate brand, but to build an actual business brand that really, is linked to your product. Also, that brand can drive your equity story. So again, when there's an M&A process, it can change things quite a lot. And that obviously, because we are in a tech sector, you need to link every part of your positioning and of your brand to your product. You're not just there to sell a story, you're there to sell your tech, and you have to take that into account. And then again, it's not because you're working on reputation that it should be boring. We work in B2B, we work in tech, but we have a lot of fun as well.
Thank you. Take more than that.
I'm going to keep this.
So, team, sales alignment, brand. Next chapter, let's talk about event and especially a flagship event. This is some pictures of a lot of events around the world, targeting prospect, partner, customers. Events have always been a key pillar of our Contentsquare strategy. Our marketing team, our team at Contentsquare, we organize more than 300 events per year. So basically, yes, you can every business day spend one day in one event with someone in Contentsquare in the world. More important than that, it drives more than $100 million of pipe every year, and especially through our 10-6 Circle, which is our flagship event. I will talk about it just right now. Events are still driving around like 50% of our pipe in EMEA for the enterprise segment. So yes, at Contentsquare, we truly believe to build real connection in live is more than important. By the way, so Contentsquare is a French unicorn on the next 40. What we do is we have a SaaS platform. We help brands like Renault, LVMH, Orange, Sephora to build better digital experience on the website and on apps. So our marketing is B2B, basically all company website, so all industry, everywhere in the world, so from SMB to corporate. But let's go back to the biggest playing event, which is a flagship event. Maybe you know there is like big event in Las Vegas organized by Salesforce, Dreamforce. It's 3 days. There is like 100 of keynote, rock star bands. That's crazy. I think at one point all the startup CEO dreams a bit to do the same. You know, like huge main stage, Apple style keynote, thousands of customers, and we have Google Cloud Summit, Adobe Summit. In SaaS company, in tech, organizing kind of flagship event is kind of a big milestone. And at different scale, with different budget, you can do it. We have good example with HubSpot and Contentsquare. But the real question is, how do you go from like hosting 50 in-person, breakfast in your office to a full-scale roadshow with hundreds of international experts, even like inspirational speakers, like for example last year Teddy Riner. So first of all, when you start and when you want to organize your flagship event, you need to start by the beginning, thinking about the end at the same time. So let me explain. It's really important that the first day you really define what is your positioning, what is your ambition, even an editorial line, even vibe of your event. What do you want to make such an event is really unique? So have a clear vision and at the same time a strong ambition, and then you can move like step by step. you want to do it, yes, but why? And it has to really fit to your business. For example, at Contentsquare, we didn't decide to do like one event per year with every customer in one place. No, what really fits to our needs was to organize an international roadshow. Why? Few reasons. First of all, it can fuel your pipeline at your local level. On our side is 20 million pipe every year with 10 events. It boosts your brand awareness locally. It helps you to create kind of engage your partners, your prospects, your media analysts at the local level. You can also engage your community of customers on the field at the local level, which good opportunity of renew, upsell, and cross-sell. And finally, it helps also you to align your team together. You have a common goal, common roadmap. So what we decided to do is to create one and then to start to grow and step by step open country by country, increasing the number of attendees of each edition by 30%. And I will take a good example with Six Circle in Paris. We had decided to organize kind of full leadership event. We had like few speakers, no partners, only like 50 attendees. And then we stepped back in 2019 and we said, okay, let's try to, what is our vision, what is our ambition again? So we just redefined all the event as a test, first one. We really decided to organize a full day of keynote, workshop, after work, but also create on the side all content, magazine, podcast, newsletter. And this success helped us to launch the project internationally. So now we are able to organize 10 Six Circles across the globe from Riyadh, Tokyo, Melbourne, New York, Milano, and of course Paris. In Paris, last year, it was 1,000 attendees, 25 keynotes, 18 partners in a great and unique venue. Last secret, let's say, to do it is to be sure that you have a shared common vision across all the edition. On our side, it's simple. We just want to bring digital experts together for unique experience. I like to summarize and say it has to be smart and fun, easy. Okay, so you have your vision, but what you need to in marketing, beyond all good ideas, what is important is execution, of course. It's important that if you decide to do it, it has to be part of your strategy. Not marketing strategy, but company strategy. At Contentsquare, it's really a key pillar of our strategy, marketing and company. We decide, for example, to launch all our products during this kind of event. So it's a company moment where all the team are aligned. So the R&D is aligned with the launch, the sales are ready for the launch, the marketing is ready, etc., etc. And now it's a real mature program. We decide to have some tiering depending on the market size. So the events are not exactly the same depending on the size of the market, etc., etc. And our team continue to improve this program. We basically try to continue to standardize a lot, branding, messaging, and we also try to also have a lot of consistency across the globe. So we really try to standardize and reuse a lot of dashboard, using content and format. But obviously, especially with a roadshow, a strong degree of, let's say, localization and be a bit flexible is quite important. As I told you, we want to be smart and fun, and the fun in Riyadh is in Tokyo is not exactly the same. Last but really important on our side, and it can be a key success for everyone, is to leverage your technological and strategical partners. It brings attendees, it brings good content with your customers, and it can also help you in terms of a budget. On our side is around 30 to 60% of the cost of the event. So you have a vision, you have an ambition, you have a methodology, and I will just give you like few tips to help you to improve your event. So I have like few tips like a bit quickly. Align your team, as I told you, it's important that the goals between all the stakeholders are realigned from the beginning, and on your side that you need to share and update information on the regular basis with all the stakeholders. Leverage every opportunity. Your event is just one day. It has to be part of a big plan. If you are coming, for example, to VivaTech and you are waiting on your booth that people are coming to your stand, wrong. You need to organize a breakfast morning with your partners, maybe a lunch with your customers. You ask the media accredited to event and you organize a coffee with your CEO, etc., etc. Organize an immersive, more responsible event. It starts to be more important. You need to follow the trends, what your attendees expect, of course. The most important one is content. content is king. We analyze data, we organize a lot of events. We know people are registered to event thanks to your agenda. So have like nice brands, big name is important. And they are coming back to your event if your content was good. So you don't only organize an event, you create content. Spend time on that. Create template, spend time with your speakers, be sure they are ready, they have a good message, know the same as the other speaker, etc. Talking about speakers, obviously they can help you to amplify communication. A simple communication kit is more than fine. Standardization. When you start to design your event, you need to think that you can replicate it across the blog, across the time. It has to be designed like that. Collect the data. So obviously to improve your event, okay, the no-show rate depending by segment, by geography, but also the question from the attendees, the number of attendees by session. It can help you to redefine even your marketing message. Enrich your database. I really like this one. You cannot wait, your data or even social database enriched by itself. You need a plan, you need a budget. If you want to invite people, if you organize an event, you need people to let you know. So it's important that you plan budget and time on database. Email sequences, block the agenda, the SDR of the sales. You cannot wait, your event to organize your follow-up. Makes sense. Partners, we talk about it. It's content, it can be budget, it can be attendees. So it's important to work with them. And last one, leverage the halo effect. What does it mean? Is if you organize a great event with great content, it can fuel your marketing during months. All the presentation, you can turn it to ebook. All the session you record, it can be a lead gen campaign, and then a few months after, you publish on YouTube for SEO awareness. So I hope now you are ready. And by the way, if you want to see the magic by yourself,
wow. Looks interesting.
We open the invitation next week, Monday. Will be fun.
Thank you, Geoffrey. So now you know how to build your team, how to build your brand, how to create pipeline, and how to have a great event strategy. So let's travel, let's go abroad. So my name is Hélène Draoulec. I'm the CMO at Phenix, and I've been lucky to experiment internationalization in both ways, so from the US to Europe with US companies and from Europe to the US. And today I'm going to expose myself, so don't judge me, but I really want to share my mistakes with you because I think that's where you learn the most. And just a quick note about Phenix, we are the leader when it comes to food and non-food waste in France, Spain, and Portugal. And the problem that we solve is that every day billions of stores and companies throw away some items that are still usable and eatable. And we give them the solution to make them have a second life. Okay, so I'm going to share an experience that happened in a company that I work for, but I was not the CMO back then. It was a company called iAdvise. In 2017, they raised 30 million euros. And they told their investors that with that money, they will go abroad very fast, very strongly, in the UK, in Germany, and in Spain at the same time. And the previous CMO had to support that. So let's make a long story short. 18 months later, they had to close the UK and Spain, and there was still the Germany remaining. Okay, so this is mistake number one. Don't confuse speed with readiness. And mistake number two is not to do your product marketing job when you go internationally and answer those questions. So I'm not going to read them, but just going to share two experiences about them. The first one, the one about pricing. You need to share if your pricing works in all the countries. With Phenix, this is a mistake that we made. We assumed that the pricing should have been the same everywhere, and we realized not a long time ago that in Portugal, we are in a monopoly situation, and people are willing to pay for this service very badly, and we could be more expensive. Second learning with those questions, Phenix, when you see it, it's written the French way. So for us, it's very cool, you know what it means. But if you go to English-speaking countries, they don't know how to pronounce it. And this is a topic that I will have to tackle in the coming months if we want to go internationally on a wider scale. Third mistake, sticking to your brand too much, thinking that your brand is the frame and that you shouldn't adapt it. That's super important to be able to adapt it to the local specificities. Best example ever is McDonald's, very strong brand. Everywhere in the world, you come into a restaurant, you have the same experience, but you have different sandwiches. And in France, maybe you tasted the Mac baguettes a few years ago, but this is the perfect example of localization. So rely on your team, rely on your people on the field to make sure that you adapt your strategy and your brand. And on the same note, if you're a French company, don't assume that France is your source of truth. It's not relevant anymore. France is just another market within your company. And if you're a French-based company, it means that you have to separate your team in France from the team who are working globally and the team who are working locally on the French market. And those guys are going to be the field marketers, and you need to empower them to give them the possibility to create their own campaigns. That's super important. And if you're skeptical about the ability of your team in HQ and your field marketers to talk to each other, you can create a specific role. I did it at iAdvise and at Phenix, that it integrated marketing, and their role is to make sure that all the campaigns are executed smoothly around the globe, and that the field marketers don't have to chase forever people at HQ to get their assets. Last but not least, big mistake that I made at iAdvise, assuming that GTM should be the same everywhere. At iAdvise, the play was mostly enterprise. And so when we decided to expand to the US, I assumed that we should go with an enterprise GTM. And it didn't work until the moment when I realized that an enterprise company in France, in terms of revenue, in terms of size of number of employees, and so on, is very likely to be a upper mid-market company in the US, and the tactics are totally different, the channels are different, everything is super different. So don't do that, and also don't translate everything that you do. It doesn't work. Localize, and that's very different. Localize, don't translate. So my 5 hard-earned lessons: don't rush, don't confuse speed with readiness. Culture is very important, and you should localize and not translate. France, if you're a French company, is not your source of truth anymore. Empower your field marketers and test very lightly in the very beginning before wasting all your budget in very expensive campaigns. And now I'm going to give the mic to Aurélie.
Hi everyone, and now we're going to talk about AI. I am Aurélie, CMO at Alan. At Alan, our mission is to help people live a longer, healthier life. And from the start, one of our key assets to achieve this mission has been our culture, relying on responsibility, autonomy, accountability. And from the start, the vision has always been very clear, leveraging AI and technology to enhance our value proposition and make healthcare more accessible, and to strengthen our culture, empower teams, make them even more autonomous, even more creative and productive. We have always used AI at Alan, first of all in our product, for example, to fight against fraud. And now, with generative AI, we use AI everywhere. 100% Alaners use AI every week today. AI is revolutionizing the user journey, and it starts with search. Consumers are no longer searching, they are talking. AI is not only understanding what you want, but also how you feel, your aspirations, your emotions, your mood, and it tailors the answer to this context. So the question for us, marketers, is how do we switch from a push marketing strategy to a pull marketing strategy? Instead of pushing messages, how can we leverage AI to pull consumers into meaningful, helpful conversations? And it opens a lot of doors. Very concretely, today at Alan, we have developed 3 main use cases. We use AI to scale faster, be more productive. We use AI to gather even more data, customer insights, to personalize the campaigns and increase their performance. And we use AI to be even more creative. Let's dig into a few concrete use cases. With AI, we want to scale faster. Alan is growing super fast, we are growing international, and one of our challenges in the marketing team is to scale our content production. We want to spend less time on content production, we want to harmonize the tone of voice, and we want to produce content in multiple languages. Our solution is to build AI agents, AI assistants, leveraging Dust. But first, what is Dust and what is an AI assistant? Dust is a tool. It indexes all your internal knowledge and documentation, so you can search it very easily. And you can also have access to GPT, Claude, etc. Now, what is an AI assistant? It is a bot created for a specific use case. It combines 3 key elements: a specific database, customized instructions, and an LLM to process queries and provide an answer. With Dust, it's super easy to create an AI assistant, an AI agent, even for me, even for non-tech people. So we have created AI agents to help us producing content. We have the creative marketing assistant. I want to create a social media campaign to promote the launch of our new feature, Alan Play, for example. I can use creative marketing assistants, and this assistant has access to our internal knowledge. So it knows how we pitch the feature, it knows the key user selling points, so the proposal is very customized and highly relevant. And we have developed other assistants, for example, to check and improve the tone of voice and to produce SEO content, etc. At the end of the day, we are gaining 80% productivity when it comes to produce content thanks to AI. With AI, we, marketers, are also becoming mini studios. We are autonomous. We have an idea, we can execute it, we can test it, we can build a prototype. We are a lot more autonomous than before. And at Alan, one of our main brand assets is our mascot, the marmot. You saw a lot of marmots, and we create a lot of marmots at Alan. And with AI, we have created a whole universe around the marmot, and we can bring it to life. So we use scenario to create the marmots, and we have developed a user-friendly interface, so everyone at Alan can create marmots, and we also open this interface to our ambassadors, so everyone can create assets, for example, for social media. Having said that, AI remains a tool. AI is not creative by itself. And I think it's a very important point for all of us, because I really believe that it's through your critical eye that you will be able to leverage AI to its fullest. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I'm pretty sure that after those presentations, It seems easy, but the reality is a bit different. We have failed a lot, and we want to share with you a few epic fails to share, what's behind the scene. Geoffrey, the floor is yours.
Yes, I can start with the first one. Oh, you can click.
Okay.
Yes, so not related to event I talked about just before. I want to talk more on a content campaign. So as I told you, at Contentsquare, we collect trillion of data every day. So we collect on different websites across the globe. So what we decide to do is to share with data with our customers and then with our prospects and media. So we build a report. So we test it was really performing. So what we decided to do is this report is be integrated in a campaign, a global campaign. So everyone wants to be part of the creating of this great content. So we have a chart, we explain the chart, we had a quote from the customers, and then the product team say, oh, can you just explain how we can do better depending on this trend with our product? And then we ask partners. So, and this is the size of the report at the end. We spent a lot of time, a lot of energy. The team was like totally, without any energy when we were ready to launch the report, and they didn't have time, of course, to work on the activation. But then, we launched the report, a lot of download, great, even if the activation was not really perfect. But then we did a test with few people, and we sit together and we read the report. I need 2 hours to read the report. What was the real average real time of our prospects and customers? 4 minutes. So you spend a lot of time on creating your content and not enough on your activation. It's not a question of size, it's a question of quality. You need to balance your time. You create a piece of content. 50% is your content, campaign preparation, and 50% of your time, energy, bandwidth, budget is on the activation. And a content like that is great, and it's a good lead magnet. But then, if you really want to drive business, you need to organize smart activation around the content in the report. So it was a huge fail. Now we know, we learn, we changed today the format so people can just have access on the kind of interactive page where they can basically filter what they want, and then there's a few insights, but that's all. It's really focused on quality and on activation.
Thank you very much. Selma?
So that's one that will also resonate with what Hélène said about international. So I once was at Payplug. So again, that's a company that was HR focused, and it was a French company. And we decided to launch Spain. So again, we did things absolutely perfect on day one. So basically, sales, marketing, and partners went to Spain to visit potential partners, to visit subsidiaries of our top customers, again, to see if there was traction on the market. The answer was yes. With just some minor adjustments on product, we could be an amazing fit, so why not launch in Spain? Now the reality is that we closed Spain 2 years after the launch. And the reason was multiple. The first one was that we knew we were needing some improvements on the product, but none of us was feeling legitimate enough to push that with product and ensure that it was happening, because it was none of our jobs. So basically the product was needing improvements that we did not make. The second one is that as a marketing team, we were super proud because we were building an amazing pipeline. We had BDRs there that were taking dozens of meetings every month. But the reality is, culturally, it was easy to get meetings, but people were not decision makers anyway. But they were not refusing meetings. So we had a huge pipeline that no one could ever close. And because of that disconnect between sales and marketing, we were thinking that sales guys were terrible because they were terrible at closing a pipeline that we created. So we were not thinking that we were bad, we were thinking that the other guys were bad again, misalignment. And basically, any feedback we were getting from the field, raised by BDRs, raised by sales, was going nowhere because we were not ready to listen. So this misalignment can be a problem sometimes, can just cost some points on your growth, but it can also bring you to a human, and I would say business disaster that is closing a country and getting rid of everyone that was working in Spain because of a small and stupid misalignment from day one.
Talking about team organization, Yannig, I think you have something to share.
Yes, I have 2 failures, CMO or head of marketing failures to share. The first one is the way I structured my field marketing team. I had a 20 people team at the end of my journey at Didomi, B2B SaaS company. And the one thing that I did not do correctly is to appoint a head of field marketing, because there were different people within the field team, all of them similarly brilliant, none of them being one clear leader. And I chose myself to keep the leadership of the field marketing team, while I should have appointed someone as a leader, because this would have allowed to have better prioritization, better leadership, and less work for me in terms of workload for me as a CMO, and not being able to trust one of the people in your team to take leadership is a leadership failure from the top of the pyramid, which was me at that point. And so I would not right now have a team that would not be led by a senior or less senior but strong leader. That's the one leadership or people mistake that I did, that led me to some challenges with marketing and sales alignment, as well as country launches within those different geos. Even within the marketing team, it was a bit challenging because no one really knew who was taking decisions on the field side. And the second one, I'll be short about this, but it's to say yes to my CEO. As we raised money, the CEO said, you have to invest more money, you have to get us more pipeline. I was trying to do my best to get more pipeline, so I had pipeline raised and stuff. And I was not able. I think it was the first time I had so many means with so much budget. I was not able to say no and say we should go slower. We should generate less pipeline because it won't close if we keep investing a lot. Learning of the story is that at the end we had gazillion of leads, less closing than planned. Customer acquisition costs exploded, and the CEO told me it's your fault. So.
Okay, this one is again about international. So I used to work in a US company, and they decided to invest a lot in brand because we were mainly focused on lead generation. And so they spent, I think the global budget for this activation with the promotion was more than $1 million to work with TBWA and have some very cool ads. And it was done at HQ, and when we received it in Europe, the first results, the first videos of the campaign, we realized that all these ads was referring to all the graduation system in the US, and it doesn't resonate a lot in France, and it's even worse in Southern Europe, so it was totally ununderstandable in Europe, and that was a big fail. Because the campaign was really a huge failure in France, and the conclusion of the top management was that brand is not worth investing. So my learning is that always have a field manager or local ambassador of your countries in the room before spending a lot of money in marketing.
Last but not least, Flora.
Yeah, talking about investing a lot of money for nothing. In a previous company, it was a tech company as well. We completely built a new brand because it would, like the first brand when I arrived there had been created when the company was launched. It had been like 5 or 6 years, so we had to update it. And because we were a very tech company, it was a hardware company, so we wanted to do something slightly different. So we came up with this great idea to build a logo that was moving. We're very proud of ourselves because no one had ever seen that. Now I know why. It's impossible to use, right? Like the only person that was able to actually use that beautiful logo that was moving, and it was also slightly transparent. Again, it was fun. It was impossible to use. So it was the only one who could do it was our designer, which meant that no one ever used it for 12 months. And then after 12 months, we realized that we had spent a lot of money to build like a brand design and graphical charts and so on that no one was actually able to leverage to build awareness and to create like a strong image for the company. So this is true with the logo, but it could be true with any other branding item. It could be design, it could be the way of writing, it could be the personality of your brand, it could be any subject related to your image. If it's not easy to use, people will never use it. So sophistication is great, easiness is a lot better.
Thank you so much for sharing those epic fails. Thank you very much. If you want to go a bit further, if you want to learn more about all our best practices, epic fails, learnings, we have this Quand les startups and licornes réinventent le marketing book, and we hope you enjoy the session and you will enjoy the book.
Thank you very much, the tech marketing leaders, Geoffrey, Aurélie, Selma, Yannig, Flora, and Hélène. They don't